What's up, party people? As you guys can see, Miata's back. So we're gonna start doing some work on it. Brendan at ZFab got the engine trans mounts all finished back up. Sorry about the wood that was there for some turbo mock-up. I'll insert those pictures right here. And basically all we're doing right now is I'm just doing a little mock-up of the Mishimoto radiator, and then got all these parts in the back of the truck for basically the rest of this thing. We got a treadstone oil cooler and intercooler that we need to mock up and get ready to go in on the front end of this thing, and that needs to go and happen before we do the turbo kit. But basically I'm gonna end this clip right here and go a little walk around of the car right where it stands, and then go from the plans of what we're gonna do the rest of these next couple of weeks. So here's the engine and the new motor mounts. So you can see a little bit different than what we had before, but should work out great. I think he actually got it to sit a little further back than it was. Had to do some cutting on, well, not cutting, but hammering on these little pieces that the Miatas have. A lot of LS guys cut them out. You can see it better on this, so it's not dented up. But normally they cut this out flush with this and back, and they use that for header clearance as well as starter clearance and stuff like that. So you can see I just dented it back, clear the starter, no problem. Let's get underneath the car real quick and I'll show you the transmission mount. So probably gonna go through, clean these up a little bit, just so they're not hanging down as much. The center bars I don't believe are the lowest point, but might trim those up just a little bit. But as you can see, we ended up going solidly mounted on these. And the reason why we did was, well, these motor mounts, they're like 98 Duro. They're not gonna flex much. And you can see like it's moving the whole car, the engine doesn't budge. So we were like, you know what, to make it easier on both of us and try to reduce flex, we just went ahead and solidly mounted the trans. There was really no reason not to, and it'll be perfectly fine. So basically the plan right now is I have the fuel tank. I need to put that back in, so I'm going to drop the rear subframe, do coilovers all the way around, install the fuel tank while the rear subframe's out of the car, do the coilovers like I said, install that back in, and then after that we're gonna make some mounts for the intercooler and oil cooler, and after that it's pretty much just simple stuff. The turbo kit, I'll insert a picture here. Basically it's gonna be a simple manifold. It should flow really well. We got the Precision Turbo, it's a Gen 2 CEA 6062, and then the Tile MVS 38 millimeter wastegate, and with all that being in, should flow pretty well. Should be able to make the 600 horsepower mark pretty easy. So I'm gonna get to work, set up the camera, and do a little time lapse for you guys. All right, so I got the coilovers out. You guys all know how to do that. Basically, take out the top bolts, take out the lower bolt down here, remove the upper control arm mount, and then it slides right out. It's real easy. So I'm gonna go ahead and install the fronts real quick. Let's get those out of the way. Probably not gonna be doing too much with the front subframe out of the car like ever, so no reason to drop that. The rear I actually have to drop just to get to the fuel tank in there. Go ahead and throw those front coilovers in, and then we'll start on the back, dropping the subframe. The Neomax, as you can see, they're much shorter. That that'll probably end up need to go up. These are just how they were set from the box, and I'll probably end up raising it another inch, but I'm gonna install them real quick and we'll see how they go. So I got the coilovers on. Basically in the last video, they were straight out of the box settings. Let's just say I tried, and the thing, this was damn near here. The center of the wheel was very high. It was not good at all. So took them all off again and readjusted them. Right now it's about 2.5 inches lower than the factory strut length. But I'm gonna start lowering the rear subframe, and then we'll go from there. So should be fun. So here's the difference of how I have them set up right now. I had to extend them a lot, but here's the rear end. I know you guys have never seen this in the video. I did this before we restarted YouTube. Basically, it's just a Ford 8.8 in there, and got 327 gears, LSD, and it's about that. But I got to install the fuel tank up here. Looks pretty clean. I need to find some bolts for those, and then we'll go from there. But coming along pretty easy, so keep progress up. All right, so did some extra work that I kind of forgot about. Got the fuel tank installed, and then last time when I had the diff out, the center hole right here was stripped out, so I ran a tap through that, got it pretty good. I got the coilovers inside the control arms. Now I'm just gonna jack it up. I need to call my uncle or little cousin down and help me guide it up, and then install the top bolt hats, or the top hat bolts, and then hook up the brake line and e-brake lines again. And I think we'll have all the coilovers on, probably drop on the ground then. We'll be good. So finally got it back on the ground. So it has a little bit more weight in it than it did before. You know, just fuel tank, radiator, and all that. I think once we add a little bit more weight, such as drive shaft, rear axles, a full fuel tank, all the turbo parts, I'll probably have to raise it up. But right now, it looks pretty great. Could probably use to raise probably 1/2 inch in front and back, but it looks good. Looks like a standard Miata now instead of a monster truck. But yeah. You can see the alignment's all crazy because, well, it's been basically eyeball after all the bushings and stuff. But there we go.